All right, we're going to do the solutions for coursework exam number 1. Here we have some rules here. So let's go down to the MCQ. So we have to, here's my pen. Which of the following numbers is irrational? Okay, so we have some numbers here. Okay, so we are looking for the one that's irrational. So we're going to circle this one here, right? Square root of -2, right? This is not irrational. This is not irrational as well, right? Which of the following is not a real number? I'm just looking for the one that has a negative sign. I mean, this has a negative sign. This has a negative sign, right? But this one here has a negative sign inside the square root sign. So it's going to, this negative sign is going to be represented by I. And that's not a real number. That's a complex number, right? So this one here, option 4 is not the real number. C, approximate the number, this number here, to 2 decimal places. Well, the 2 decimal places means I look at 1 decimal place after the point, 2 decimal place, I underline and I circle the number 8. Okay, so when I do that, I circle the number 8. Is it greater than 5? Yes, it is, which means I add 1 to the 9. But the next number after that is 9 as well. So I have to add another number 9, which means that this number here changes. So it's going to be 497. I'm seeing 497. So it's not option 3. It's either option 1, 2, or 4. And because I added a 0 here and a 0 here, and it's obviously either 1 or 2. And because they asked me for 2 decimal places, then it's this one here. It's option 1. Right? It's not this one, because remember, we have to get 2 decimal places after the point, even if it is 0. D, approximate this number here to 3 significant figures. The first significant figure is this 9 here. Second one is the other 9. And the third one is here by the 7, which means that I have to look at this number here 4. And this number here is less than 5, which means that I leave this number here the same. And the rule tells me that I truncate everything as I cut it off. So I'm going to cut off this 4 and 1. So it's just 997. So this is 3 significant figures here. Okay. E. Express this number in scientific notation. So it's by 10 to the something. So we have 1 decimal place after the first real number, whole number. So that's it's either this one or this one. Okay. So let's see how many places am I going to get back this number. Right, I'm going 2 places. Is it 2 places to the left or is it 2 places to the right? Well, it's this option here, because 2 places to the left will give me 0.009 whatever. But 2 places to the right will give me 932.44. So the option is here, option 3. Okay, we're moving on to F. Solve this indices problem here. We have 10 to the power of 10, and that's all raised to the power of 1/10, multiplied by 10 to the power of 0. Well, 10 to the power of 0 is already 1, so I'm not even going to bother with this, right? Whatever the answer here is the answer. It's going to be multiplied by 1. So we're using the rule here as a to the power of m by n is equal to a to the power of m by n. So 1/10 multiplied by 10, this 10 is going to cancel with this 10 here. So it's just going to be 10 to the power of 1, and 10 to the power of 1 is 10. Multiplied by 1 is 10. So the option is first one. For G now, we use the magnesium oxide, the main component in laxatives, etc., etc. The ratio is 4 to 6. So magnesium to oxygen. So 4 is magnesium and the 6 is the oxygen. The sample contains this amount of oxygen. So 3216 is the oxygen. So we have to find out how many magnesium. So it's 4 all over the amount here multiplied by 3216. And that should give me 2144 as the first option. H now asks me to simplify this surd here, right, and put it in one of these forms here. So which one is it? I'm going to need some space to work this out. So the FOIL method, right? First term. So 1 by 2, right? So I'm going to multiply this. 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is 2. 1 by negative root 6, that's negative root 6. 6 by root 2, root 6 by 2 is positive 2 root 6. And root 6 by root 6 with a negative sign goes back. Root 6 by root 6 is just 6. Let's see how we can simplify this now. So I can take this 2 here and this negative 6 and say 2 minus 6, that's negative 4. I'm going to get negative 4. Put back my negative root 6 plus 2 6. Okay. Both of these are root 6. So I guess you can take negative root 6 plus 2 root 6. That's 5 root 6. But they don't want it in any of, it doesn't match any of these forms here. So it seems to me that I have to go and factorize something here in order to get it in this form here. So they want it in a form here where we have something factorized. So I'm only seeing plus signs here. So let me go ahead and multiply throughout by negative 1. I get rid of this minus sign in front of this 4 and this negative sign from this 6. So I'll get 4 plus root 6 plus 2. Sorry, not plus. It's going to be minus. Minus 2 root 6. Okay. Now we have an addition sign because look at my 4s here. All of them have positive numbers in front of it except for this one. So I'm going to try the positive way first. So it's 4 plus, we have a root 6 and a root 6 here. I can factorize out the root 6. Root 6 into root 6 is 1. And root 6 into this here will be 2. So it's 4 plus root 6 into 1 minus 2. Does it look like any one of these here? Yeah, it does look like option 3. Right, so I'm going to circle this one here. Which of these is not a surd, right? So I have to find the one in which I can find the square root or the cube root of, right? So it's not this one. Not seeing a perfect square here. Neither this one. Maybe this one. But what about this one here? This is 64, the cube root of 64. And I know that 4 by 4 is 16, and 16 by 4 will give me back 64. So that means that this one here will give me back 4 cubed. So this one here is not a surd, right? This is, and this is. And lastly, for J, convert this 100 by 10 to the negative 6 kilometers squared to meters squared. So again, how many meters, how much is 1 kilometer into meters? It's 10 to the power of 3 meters. So how much is 1 kilometer squared? We could square the whole thing, right? So 1 kilometer squared is going to become this thing all squared. So it's 10 to the power of 3 all squared meters squared, which is equal to 10 to the power of 6 meters squared. Right, so now I have the units. Now I have to get 100 of those. So it comes, let me work it out here on the side, 100 by 10 to the power of negative 6 kilometers squared is equal to 100 by 10 to the power of negative 6 by, because negative 6 from the question, right? 10 to the power of 6 meters squared. So negative 6 plus 6, that's 0. I'm going to get a 100 by 10 to the power of 0 meters squared. Okay, but remember this has to be in scientific form. I mean, it's already here by 10 to the something, but this is 0. So let's move the point that's here. Let's move it 1 place, 2 place, and put it here. So it'll become 1.00 by 10 to the power of 2 meters squared. Any of these options that this is 10, so they didn't move the point enough places. This one here, 1.00 by 10 to the 2 meters squared. Okay, so it's option 2. Right, so this was the MCQ part. So not that bad. So let's look at the structured questions now. It says by rationalizing the denominator, so only the denominator, we gotta solve this thing here. So let's go. 1 all over root 9 minus 1. So we're rationalizing the denominator, so we're multiplying by root 9 plus 1 all over root 9 plus 1. I will not simplify root 9 as 3. Right? I'm going to keep it as square roots and solve. 1 by all of this is just root 9 plus 1 all over root 9 multiplied by root 9 will just give me 9. Root 9 by 1 plus root 9. Root 9 by negative 1 minus 9. And negative 1 by positive 1 is negative 1. So this simplifies to root 9 plus 1 all over. This will cancel with this. I'll just get 9 plus 1. Sorry, 9 minus 1, which is 8. Okay, so this is my answer. Or some students may choose to find the square root of 9, which is 3 plus 1 upon 8, which is 4 upon 8, which is equal to 1 upon half. I mean, yeah, that's not wrong as well, but this is acceptable. Okay, because I'm not seeing the instructions as over here that says put in the simplest form. Okay, so either or is fine. This is 3 marks. So let's go down to part B now. Okay, so part B says solve for x given that we have some information here. Right, so of course I'm going to use the rule that says if the bases are the same, then I can equate the indices. I can equate the powers. Okay, so I have 3 to the power of 2x plus 1. So this is already 3. This is 9. This is 27. They're all divisible by 3. So 9 is 3 squared and 27 is 3 cubed. Right, so let me see how I can do that. So I'm going to say, okay, so let's write 3 to the power of 2x plus 1 is equal to 9. That's 3 squared. Let's put everything to the same base. 27 is 3 cubed by 2 minus, sorry. Minus 4x. Okay, let's expand the brackets first. Take this 3 here and multiply it by this 2 here and this negative 4. So let me do right back this side. I'll just keep this here. 3 squared all over 3 to the power. 3 by 2 is 6. The bracket here. And 3 by 4, that's negative 12x. Okay. Now, I can take this here in the denominator and I can bring it on the numerator. Right? I can bring it on top. When I do that, this here is going to become negative, right? So this becomes, so it's 3 squared. So this 3 squared is still here. I'm going to multiply it by 3 to the power. So I have to put a negative sign here into 6 minus 12x. This. So let's simplify this a little bit again. So that becomes 3 squared multiplied by 3. This negative sign is coming inside now, so I have negative 6. Negative and negative will come together. I have positive 12x. These bases are the same here now, so let's simplify further and add the powers. Okay, so 2 plus negative 6 plus 12x comes 3 to the power of 2 plus negative 6, that's negative 4. And this is just 12x. And of course, remember, all of this is equal to 3 to the power of 2x plus 1. 3 to the power of 2x plus 1. So now the bases are the same. So let me equate the powers. I'm going to say 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 4 plus 12x. I forgot my x here. So however you choose to do it, I can leave my negative 4 on this side and bring maybe the constants on this side and do the same for the x's. So take 2x, take this 12x and bring it on this side, becomes negative 12x. Leave my negative 4 here and take this positive 1 and bring it on this side, becomes negative 1. Okay. So 2x minus 12x, that's negative 10x. That's equal to negative 4 minus 1, that's negative 5. So that means that x now is equal to negative 10. So we're going to divide now. So x is equal to 1/2. Oh. X is equal to a half. So x is equal to a half is my answer. This is what x is equal to, 0.5. If we have any doubt, we can go back and we can put it inside our equation and check. So actually, let's check while we're here. So put 3 to the power of 2 a half plus 1. Let's work that out. That becomes, well, of course, let's put it equal to 9 all over 27 to the power of 2 minus 4 by a half. Right, so this side becomes, so this is like a side working. So a half of 2 is 1, 1 and 1 is 2. So the left hand side becomes 3 squared. And the right hand side becomes, okay, the right hand side becomes 2. So a half of 4 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So it becomes 9 upon 27 to the power of 0. So the right hand side is 9 upon 27 to the power of 0. But anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that becomes just 9. So 3 squared is equal to 9. So 3 squared is 9. Yeah, 9 is equal to 9. So yes, x is equal to a half is the correct answer. Okay. So now we're on question number 3. We are asked to do some, so we are given 3 different equations, or functions here. And we are asked to find 2 things here. Find f inverse of x and f composed with f inverse. Okay, so for part A, I have to find f inverse. So this is f of x. F of x, let's write it back. Right? Remember, we have to let this be equal to y. So you can write a nice line like we did in the tutorials, like consider y is equal to 2x minus 1. And now, when we interchange x and y, that means wherever I see y, I put x, and x, I put y. We're going to get x is equal to 2y minus 1. So now, I have to make y the subject of the formula. Right? So, I have 2y here. So, I can leave the 2y here and just take this 1 here and bring it on this side. So, it becomes 2y is equal to x plus 1. Right? So that means, of course, if you get confused from here, I know some people might get confused. I just switch the equation around, right? So really, it's when I bring this over here, it becomes x plus 1 is equal to 2y. So I just flip it around like this, right? I don't need to change any signs when I do that. Right? It's the same thing. So now I have to divide throughout by 2 to get y the subject of the formula. So yeah, so f inverse of x is equal to x plus 1 all over 2. That's part A. That's 2 marks. And then it says find f composed with f inverse. So this is f inverse. And f of x is equal to 2x minus 1. Which means that, let me get some here. So f composed with f inverse of x is equal to f composed with f inverse of x. So this is another way that you could write this information. Okay, so what is f again? F is, let's go back, 2x minus 1. So it's become f, well, that's 2x minus 1 of f inverse, which is what we just found, 2x. X plus 1 upon 2. It becomes 2x plus 1, sorry, 2x minus 1, 2x, x is this, minus 1. And this 2 here is going to cancel with this 2 here. I'm going to get x plus 1. And this is a minus 1 here. 1 minus 1, that's 0. So the answer is just x. And the last part, find the exact value of f composed with h composed with g of the number a half. All right, so let's see how we can do this. So we have fgh of a half. So fhg 1/2 is equal to f composed with h composed with g of the number 1/2. Close the half, close the g, and close the h. So this becomes f composed with h composed with whatever g is. I forgot. Let's go back up. G is x squared plus 4, right? So we have to get, wherever you have x squared, you put your half. So x squared, so a half squared plus 4. Close this bracket and then close the bracket for h. So this means that I have f of h into 1/2 squared, that's a quarter, plus 4. Close the bracket. Right now, I could add this and simplify. F of h into 4 plus this, that's 17 upon 4. Right, I think. So now I have to find h of this. Let's go back up and find h now. H is x minus 3. I'm going to come back down and I'm going to put f of h minus, well, x minus 3. So x is now 17 upon 4 minus 3. Right, and then we're going to compose that and use that with f. So this becomes f of, this is 1 4 7 minus, this is 5 upon 4. And then finally put this into f, and f is 2x minus 1. So 2 into x, which is 5 upon 4 minus 1. And this 2 is going to cancel, going to this 2 times. So 5 upon 2 minus 1, that's equal to 3 upon 2. Right, and this is my answer here. So these were the solutions for the first coursework exam.